All right, get ready, because we're diving deep today into the multiverse. We've got some really interesting material to go over, a mix of science and just plain cool ideas. The big question we're tackling is, could there be more universes than just our own?
It gets pretty wild. Think universes with totally different physics.
Right, and maybe even places where time runs backward.
And the thing is, this isn't just like science fiction. There are real scientific reasons why some physicists are taking this seriously.
Okay, so before we get too far, let's start with the basics. What exactly do we mean when we say multiverse?
Well, the multiverse theory says that everything we know, all the stars, galaxies, everything, it's just one of many universes, all existing at the same time. And these other universes, they could be totally different. Different laws of physics, different dimensions, even different kinds of matter.
So not just like parallel universes where things are slightly different. We're talking completely alien realities. Wow, that's a lot to take in. I know the multiverse is a popular idea in movies and books, but do actual scientists think it's possible?
That's a great question. It's important to say that not all scientists agree on the multiverse. It's still debated.
Right.
But it's not some crazy fringe idea either. There's some pretty convincing reasons why some physicists are taking it seriously.
Okay, so let's get into those reasons. Why would some scientists think there could be a multiverse? What are the theories behind it?
One of the biggest reasons has to do with trying to solve some of the biggest mysteries in cosmology. For example, the fine-tuning problem.
Okay.
This problem basically says that all the fundamental stuff in our universe, the strengths of forces, the masses of particles, it all seems incredibly finely tuned to allow for stars, galaxies, and life to exist. Like, even the tiniest changes to these constants could result in a universe where nothing could form.
So it's like our universe hit the jackpot with the perfect conditions for life.
Yeah.
And that seems too lucky to be just chance.
Exactly. And some scientists find it hard to believe that this fine-tuning is just random luck. One way to explain it is to say, well, maybe our universe is just one of many, each one with its own randomly set constants, and we just happen to live in the one that got lucky.
Okay, so the multiverse might be a way to explain this fine-tuning problem. What other theories support the idea of a multiverse?
Another big one is cosmic inflation.
Okay.
This theory says that right after the Big Bang, the universe expanded incredibly fast, like way faster than the speed of light.
Whoa.
Now, some models of cosmic inflation suggest that this rapid expansion could have created bubble universes.
Bubble universes.
Yeah, imagine like pockets of space-time that expanded and became separate universes. Each bubble would be its own universe with its own set of physical laws.
So cosmic inflation could be like a cosmic bubble bath. Each bubble a different universe.
Yeah, that's a good way to picture it. It's a pretty wild idea, but the physics behind it are solid.
All right, so we've got cosmic inflation creating these bubble universes and this fine-tuning problem that the multiverse might solve. But this is all theory, right? Do we actually have any proof that these other universes exist?
That's the tricky part. We don't have any direct evidence of other universes, and it might actually be impossible to get that kind of proof.
Okay.
But scientists are searching for indirect evidence, little hints that our universe might be interacting with others in ways we can detect.
So what kind of hints? What should they be looking for?
One thing is anomalies in the cosmic microwave background radiation, that faint afterglow of the Big Bang.
Oh, right.
Scientists are looking for any unusual patterns in that radiation that could suggest our universe bumped into another one.
Like cosmic fingerprints.
Yeah.
From a collision with another universe.
Exactly. Another potential clue is gravitational waves. Those ripples in space-time created by massive objects. Scientists hope that by studying them, they might find signatures of universes colliding.
Wow. Okay, so even though we can't directly see these other universes, there might be these subtle clues hidden in our own universe. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a cosmic detective story, trying to piece together clues to find this hidden reality.
It is. This is all incredibly fascinating. But even if we find these clues, could we ever actually travel to these other universes? Is that even a remote possibility?
Well, to travel between universes, we'd need to somehow break the laws of physics as we know them. That's a pretty tall order.
So interdimensional travel is still in the realm of science fiction.
For now, yeah. But hey, science is always evolving. Who knows what amazing discoveries await us?
True. All right, so let's put aside the idea of actually visiting these other universes. Even if we can't go there, just the concept of their existence raises some mind-blowing philosophical questions.
Definitely. If our universe isn't the only one, it really makes us rethink our place in everything.
Right. I mean, if there are countless other universes, does that make our existence less significant? Are we just one tiny speck in an infinite multiverse?
That's a question that scientists and philosophers are still debating. Some argue that the multiverse makes our choices even more meaningful.
Really?
Because we're shaping our own unique path in this vast sea of possibilities.
Huh. Others might say that if every possible outcome is happening somewhere, then nothing we do really matters. It's a pretty heavy concept to think about.
It really is. The multiverse challenges our ideas about free will, about destiny, about the meaning of life. It kind of turns everything upside down.
And what about the idea of infinite versions of ourselves? If there are all these other universes, does that mean there are countless other me's and you's out there, all living out different versions of our lives?
That's one of the most mind-boggling things about the multiverse idea. It makes you question what it even means to be you, and it raises all these questions about our choices and our identity. If there are infinite versions of us, does that make each individual life less important? Or maybe, in a weird way, more important?
It really makes you question everything you thought you knew about reality.
Absolutely. And we've only just scratched the surface.
Well, listeners, we've covered some of the key theories and possible evidence for the multiverse, but this is just the beginning.
In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the specific types of multiverses that scientists have come up with, from bubble universes to parallel worlds.
And we'll explore the mind-blowing consequences of these ideas, from the potential for interdimensional travel to the deep philosophical questions they raise about the nature of reality itself. So stay with us. It's about to get even more interesting.
Welcome back to our deep dive on the multiverse. Last time we talked about some of the reasons why scientists are taking the multiverse seriously, like the fine-tuning problem and cosmic inflation.
Yeah, and those were pretty mind-blowing already. But I'm ready to go even deeper. Like, what are some of the actual types of multiverses that scientists have come up with?
Well, there's a whole bunch of different models out there, each one with its own, quirks and consequences.
Okay.
One way to think about them is in terms of levels.
Levels of multiverses. Okay, that's interesting. What are these levels?
It's like a hierarchy of increasingly crazy possibilities. The first level, level 1, is the simplest and probably the most likely to be true.
Okay.
It's based on the idea that our universe is infinite, or at least way bigger than what we can see.
Right.
So in this level 1 multiverse, it's just more of the same stuff.
More stars, more galaxies, just stretching out forever.
Basically, yeah. But here's the thing. If the universe really is infinite, then every possible arrangement of matter and energy has to exist somewhere, an infinite number of times. So that means there would be infinite versions of our solar system, infinite Earths, even infinite versions of you and me.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying there could be another me out there living a slightly different life, or maybe a totally different one?
Yeah. It's a pretty strange consequence of infinity.
It is. So that's level 1. What about the other levels? Do they get even weirder?
Oh, they definitely get weirder. Level 2 multiverses are based on the idea of bubble universes.
Oh, right. Created by cosmic inflation.
Exactly. Remember we talked about how some areas of space-time could have inflated differently, creating separate universes?
Yeah, like the bubble bath analogy?
Yeah. So in a level 2 multiverse, these bubble universes wouldn't just be physically separate. They could also have different laws of physics. Like imagine a universe where gravity is weaker, or where the speed of light is different, or even where time runs backward.
Okay, now you're just messing with me. So in these level 2 multiverses, it's not just different arrangements of matter. It's like different rule books for how reality works.
Yeah, that's the idea. And then it gets even wilder. Level 3 multiverses are based on the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics, that's where things get really strange, right?
It is. Remember how in quantum mechanics, a particle can be in multiple states at once until it's measured?
Right.
Well, the many worlds interpretation says that every time a quantum measurement happens, the universe splits, creating a new branch of reality for each possible outcome.
Okay, wait. So you're saying that every time I flip a coin, there's a universe where it landed heads and another where it landed tails?
That's the basic idea. It means there could be an insane number of parallel universes, each one representing a different path that reality could have taken.
Okay, my head is spinning. Infinite universes, bubble universes, parallel worlds. This is a lot to take in.
It is, and there are even more levels of multiverses that have been proposed, but those get pretty complex.
Yeah, let's stick with these first 3 for now. So, out of all these different multiverse types, which ones do you think are the most likely to be real?
That's a good question. There's no real agreement among scientists. The level 1 multiverse, based on the infinite universe, is probably the easiest to understand.
Right.
If the universe is truly infinite, then it almost has to have repetitions and variations.
Makes sense. What about the level 2 and 3 multiverses?
Right.
Are those considered serious possibilities?
They are, but they're also more, speculative. The level 2 one, with the bubble universes from cosmic inflation, has some decent physics behind it, but we don't have any direct evidence for it. And the level 3 multiverse, based on the many worlds interpretation, is even more debated.
Yeah, that one is really out there. I
Yeah.
mean, reality constantly splitting. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It is a pretty wild idea. But it's also really intriguing. It raises so many questions about reality and consciousness and, the choices we make.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these different multiverse levels, some more plausible than others. But even with the science behind it, the idea of multiple universes still sounds pretty far out. What are some of the biggest challenges to the whole multiverse concept? What do the people who disagree say?
One of the biggest criticisms is that it's untestable,
Okay.
at least for now. We can't directly observe other universes, so it's tough to get solid evidence to prove they're real. Some scientists say that if we can't test it, then it's not really science.
So is it more like a philosophical idea than a scientific one?
Some people say that. But others argue that even though we can't see other universes directly, we might be able to find indirect evidence by looking at our own universe.
Oh, right, like the clues hidden in the cosmic background radiation and the gravitational waves.
Exactly. And as our technology gets better, we might be able to find even more subtle signs of interactions with other universes. So even though the multiverse is pretty speculative right now, it's not necessarily outside the realm of science.
Okay, so it's a challenge, but it's not impossible that we might find evidence for it.
Right, and that's what makes it so exciting. We might be really close to discovering a whole new layer of reality, something that would totally change how we understand the universe.
Wow. So let's say, just for fun, that we do find evidence for the multiverse. What would be the biggest consequences? How would that change how we see the universe and our place in it?
It would be a huge shift, like on the same level as when Copernicus figured out that the Earth goes around the sun, or Darwin's theory of evolution. It would completely change our understanding of reality.
Wow, okay. Can you give me some examples, like how would our view of the world change?
Well, first of all, it would mean that our universe isn't unique. It's just one of many, maybe an infinite number.
Right.
That's a pretty humbling thought.
It is, to realize that we're not at the center of everything, that our little piece of reality is just a tiny part of this massive multiverse.
Exactly. And it raises a ton of questions about the nature of existence. If there are all these other universes, what does that mean for the meaning of life? Does it make us less significant? Or somehow more significant?
Those are some deep questions.
They are questions that philosophers and theologians will probably be debating for a long time.
And what about science? How would proving the multiverse change the way we do science?
It would open up a whole new world of research.
Literally.
We'd want to learn everything about these other universes, their physics, what they're made of, if there's life there, how they interact, if they do at all.
It would be like discovering a whole new continent or a new planet. There'd be so much to explore.
Exactly. It would be a golden age for science.
Okay, let's talk about interdimensional travel. I know we talked about it earlier. But if the multiverse is real, does that mean we could actually go to these other universes?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And honestly, we just don't know. The idea of traveling between dimensions is super cool, but it's also way beyond what we currently understand about physics.
I mean, it's a classic sci-fi idea, but is there any reason to think it could be possible?
Well, some physicists have come up with some theories about how it might work, like using wormholes or manipulating higher dimensions, but these ideas are still very speculative. We don't even know if they're physically possible.
So for now, we're stuck in this universe.
For now, yeah, but it's still fun to think about.
Definitely. All right, so we've talked about all these different kinds of multiverses and all the mind-blowing things that their existence would mean, from the most basic level 1 to the almost incomprehensible level 3. And we've seen how the idea of multiple universes challenges everything we thought we knew about reality.
Yeah. And even though the concept is still debated and there are lots of challenges, the possibilities for future discoveries are huge.
Exactly. And even beyond the science, the multiverse raises some big philosophical questions about the very nature of existence.
In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to tackle those philosophical questions head on.
We'll talk about how the idea of the multiverse changes our understanding of free will and destiny, and the meaning of life, and even the possibility of meeting other intelligent beings.
So get ready to stretch your minds and question your perspectives as we go to the very edge of reality, and maybe even beyond.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a trip through the multiverse so far, exploring the science and the different types of multiverses that scientists have come up with.
And we've kind of touched on some of the philosophical questions, but now I think it's time to, really dive into those.
Yeah, because even if we never actually find proof of other universes, just the idea of the multiverse brings up some really big questions about reality and what it all means.
It totally changes how we see the world. If our universe isn't the only one, it makes us rethink our place in everything, our understanding of free will, even the meaning of life.
Yeah, let's start with free will. If there are infinite versions of ourselves out there making every possible choice, does that mean our decisions here don't really matter?
That's a tough one. Philosophers have been wrestling with that question forever, and the multiverse just adds a whole new layer of complexity. Some philosophers say that if every possible outcome already exists somewhere, then yeah, our choices are meaningless. We're just kind of playing out a script.
But couldn't you also say that even if there are infinite versions of us, we still have the power to choose in this moment, in this reality? Like, maybe our choices are predetermined in other universes, but here we still have free will.
Right. It depends on how you define free will. Some people might find the idea of infinite possibilities liberating, while others find it scary.
Yeah, I can see that. And what about the meaning of life? Does the multiverse make us less significant or more significant?
That's another big one. If our universe is just one of many, it could make us feel tiny and insignificant, like our lives are just a drop in the ocean.
But maybe it actually makes our lives even more special. Like if our universe is rare, if it won some cosmic lottery to exist, then our existence here, now, is even more amazing.
True. And maybe the meaning of life isn't about finding some big universal purpose. Maybe it's about creating our own meaning, making the most of our existence in this unique and amazing universe, regardless of what might be happening in other realities.
It's a different way of looking at things. Instead of searching for answers out there, maybe we need to focus on what's right here. Appreciate the beauty and wonder of our own universe.
I think that's a good way to look at it. The multiverse can be a source of wonder, but it can also be a distraction. At the end of the day, we're living our lives in this universe, and that's what we should focus on.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the possibility of life in other universes. We've talked about different types of multiverses, some with totally different physics. Could there be life out there that's so different from what we know we can't even imagine it?
Totally. If the multiverse is as diverse as some theories say, the possibilities for life are endless. We might encounter beings that exist in higher dimensions, or that are made of exotic matter, or that evolved under totally different conditions.
It's pretty amazing to think about, but it also brings up some ethical questions. Like, if we ever do meet intelligent beings from another universe, how should we treat them?
Yeah, that's a super important question, and one we need to start thinking about now, even though we haven't met any aliens yet. We need to come up with some rules for interacting with other universes, some kind of inter-universal ethics. That focuses on respect, non-interference, and understanding.
Right. We've seen how contact between different cultures, even here on Earth, can sometimes lead to conflict and taking advantage of each other. We need to learn from those mistakes.
Absolutely. We have to remember that these other beings, no matter how different they might seem, would have their own inherent value, their own right to exist.
It's a humbling thought.
Right.
To realize that we might not be the most advanced or enlightened civilization in the multiverse, we might have a lot to learn from these other beings.
Right. We need to be open to that. I think a big part of what the multiverse teaches us is to expand our perspectives, to embrace the unknown, to recognize that there might be other ways of being, other ways of thinking, other ways of understanding the universe.
It's a call to be humble, to be curious, and to be willing to step outside of our own limited ways of seeing things.
Yeah. And maybe it's even a call to action. If the multiverse is real, then the possibilities for exploration are endless. Maybe we could learn from other civilizations, share knowledge and technology, work together to solve the big problems facing our universe, and maybe others.
That's exciting, but also a little bit scary. We need to be careful and responsible and be willing to learn from our experiences.
Well said. I think that's a good place to wrap things up. The multiverse is a vast and mysterious place, full of wonder and potential. It challenges us to think bigger, to question everything.
And even if we never find actual proof of other universes, just the idea itself can change how we understand ourselves, our place in the cosmos, and the meaning of life.
So keep looking up at the stars, keep asking the big questions, and never stop exploring the infinite possibilities of the universe. And maybe, just maybe, the multiverse.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the multiverse. Until next time, keep your minds open and those imaginations going.